Good morning, ultimate hustlers and digital empire builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we got another fire guest in line for you. We're talking with Chris Whitehurst and how he went from soldier to entrepreneur, man. And it is a story and great patience you can only get via the military, and we're going to learn about his journey and his wonderful products that he is bringing into the marketplace. So do me a huge favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and all your brand, smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning.
Yo, what's up, ultimate hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite entrepreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Monetize My Life Academy studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Listen, gift, talent, special ability, experience, or expertise that you want to turn into an online business, then Monetize My Life Academy is the place for you. We provide the tools, templates, training, support, and resources that you need to not only start, but to grow and scale a business online. Check out monetizemylifeacademy.com. You can test drive our complete system for just $1. That's right, $1 trial to get started. monetizemylifeacademy.com. Welcome to the show, man. Today we have Chris Whitehurst coming on from CW Dressings, and he's going to talk about his journey from soldier to entrepreneur and crushing it as an entrepreneur, might I add. So I can't wait to have that discussion. But I need you to do me a favor. If you're already an entrepreneur, comment in the chat the name of your business or your brand so I can give you a shout out. But also hit that like button, hit that share button, subscribe if you're checking us out on YouTube. A couple quick announcements before we bring Chris out. I don't know if you guys know, but the Facebook group is lit. Listen, man, entrepreneur be something. And if you need a community of entrepreneurs that's helping people like you grow their business and or their brand, then I want you to check out our free Facebook group called Digital Empire Builders Worldwide. It's an amazing community of entrepreneurs, and we provide free training, free networking opportunities, free support and resources. You don't have to be and go at this thing alone. In fact, we just dropped a training this past week that was so phenomenal, man, that if you are trying to figure out how to add digital products to your business and or your brand, you're trying to figure out how to create them. Like, we really go inside of this group. We don't hold anything back. The subject matter experts that train in here aren't trying to sell you anything. They're just giving you the raw, real information to help you grow your business. And you can't beat that, man. So check out Monetize My Life. Check out Digital Empire Builders Worldwide. You can join the group for free. The link is in the show notes and the comments as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring out Chris, man, and we're going to have this conversation because he has a very, very interesting story. And it's not often that we have someone on with his caliber of business and how he's been able to build and grow. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some of you guys and present to others, Mr. Chris Whitehurst. Good morning, Chris. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing extremely well, man. Happy to have you on the program. You got these wonderful products, man, and so sleek, so beautiful in their design and packaging. And we want to get into how all of this comes to be. But before we do any of that, we do something. We start every episode of the Cortez Hustle Show with a segment that we call Quote of the Day, right? That's why I'm going to share one of my quotes, and you can share a quote or you can give your thoughts on this one. So let's get into the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show. And today's quote says this: self-trust is the first secret of success. And that's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Self-trust is the first secret of success. Do you have your own quote that you want to share this morning, or do you want to chime in on that one?
Self-trust. I mean, starting a business, you truly got to trust yourself, trust in your abilities, and, everything you gain through your journey, to be successful. So, yeah. You definitely have to listen to yourself, but at the same time, you can't move always on emotions as well. So you definitely have to trust who you are when starting a business.
I absolutely love that. And I totally agree. I heard Myron Golden talk about confidence and self-trust. It's kind of alludes to confidence. And he said the reason some people will not have confidence is because they've lost that self-trust. And that self-trust comes from the fact that you have been with you through every lie that you have ever told. So with that, if you say you're going to do something, man, I'm going to start that business this year. Well, if you said that last year and didn't start it, if you said that the year before and didn't start it, if you said that 5 years ago and never started it, then that can create self-doubt and a low self-confidence because you have been used to telling yourself lies. So learn how to be a man or woman of your word. And that's going to actually help you build self-confidence and self-trust, because when you say something to yourself, you're going to, like India Ari has a song said, the words that come out of your mouth, you the first to hear. And I'm like, man, that's so deep. So understand that self-trust is critical for any success, because you're not going to move forward if you don't trust yourself. And then once you go beyond trusting yourself, trust the process, trust the team that you put around you, and trust those who support you and all of those things. So that, my friend, is the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by our good friends over at Monetize My Life Academy. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to figure out how to grow your business online, we provide all of the tools, all the templates, all of the training, all of the resources and support. We're an actual community of entrepreneurs who are in the trenches with you. So you got someone to bounce ideas off of. So check out monetizemylifeacademy.com. So, Chris, I ask everybody that comes on the Cortez Hustle Show this one question, and you don't get to escape it. I'm going to ask it of you, my friend. And the question is this: who the heck are you?
All right. So I am Chris Whitehurst. I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia. My dad was in the Marine Corps. He did over 20 years in the Marine Corps. So I grew up a military brat. Moved around a lot, but the places that I most remember would be Jacksonville, North Carolina. Went to middle school there, high school there. Grew up playing sports. Was not very good in school academically. That was, if I could change anything, I would go back and do high school over.
Gotcha. Okay.
I actually ended up dropping out of high school, and I went to Job Corps, believe it or not.
Okay.
I just wasn't academically there. And now, as far as wanting to make money, wanting to start a business or wanting something of my own. You know, when I was younger, I didn't necessarily know what it was, but I think it was that entrepreneur spirit hitting me early. I just didn't know how to channel it. I didn't have the tools to channel it. But I, you know, acted up in school a lot. Didn't necessarily make good grades. But I learned later on, you know, when I gained a family, and it really all came together when I joined the Army at age, I want to say it was 22 is when I joined the Army. Joined the Army to become a food service cook, which was the same MOS that of my dad when he was in Marine. So I did that by honoring him. I'm honored to be a chef. And just through my 20-year stint in the military, just learned so many tools. Discipline. I learned how to create a system, how to follow the rules, how to lead, how to be a follower, first of all, because, you know, believe it or not, you have to be a good follower if you want to, you know, be a good leader.
That's right.
And just through my military career, I reached many levels. I retired a master sergeant. That's a E8. I've been a food service instructor. I've been a dining facility manager. I've been a general's aide, drill sergeant, first sergeant. So although my MOS was a cook, I was able to do a lot of different things, was also deployed twice during my time in the military. But, you know, that military is, you know, it's something different. It's either going to make you or it's going to break you. And with all the trials and tribulations, the deployments, I was divorced while I was in the military. All that just basically, you know, honed, you know, who I am today and what I believe in, and why, I guess for the lack of words, you know, I hustle so hard.
I love that, brother. I love that. So first, let me say thank you for your service, because men like you, I can participate in this free enterprise system, and you know, the democratic free enterprise system that allows me to fulfill my dream. So thank you for your service. Let me say good morning to Joy, Faith of Job in the building, as well as Teresa. William Dutson is in the building as well. Good morning, guys. I want to go back to something you said, and I find that this is often the case, and I didn't start realizing this until later in life, is that entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs speak a different language. So if you had that entrepreneur spirit bubbling in you as a child, entrepreneurs think differently, right? Entrepreneurs question things, not out of disrespect, because we understand intrinsically that as an entrepreneur, you get paid to solve problems. So wherever there's a problem, we start asking questions. And sometimes in a structured institution like school, asking certain questions just it can be seen as disrespect, right? I remember I was sharing with my son that Einstein got kicked out of school. And he actually shared with me. He said, "Dad, did you know that Einstein got kicked out of school for asking questions?" I said, "No, son. He didn't get kicked out of school for asking questions. He got kicked out of school for questioning." There's a difference, right? He was questioning the entire system. He was questioning the infrastructure. He was questioning why am I learning to memorize useless facts versus learning how to think and how to be critical. And that's what got him kicked out of school. And I think as entrepreneurs, that spirit is in us in those institutions, and it's hard to get along. So talk to us about the bouncing around, right? What did you pick up from some of the various places and going, you know, being that military bred and going from base to base? What were some of the things that you picked up? Because clearly you got to start over a couple times, right? Make new friends a few times, right? How was that process on a young Chris?
Well, the only real time that I truly remember the most was, when we were stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And like I mentioned, it was middle school, high school. Went to 2 different high schools, 1 middle school. And I will tell you, base school, going to school on base is a lot different than going to, I guess you could say, school like out in town or, public school. Okay. It's a lot different. The classes are a lot smaller. If on base, everyone knows you.
Yeah.
Everyone knows your dad's rank. If you mess up, they know what house to come to. So, it's a lot different, but yeah,
and that's something that I never even thought about, that there was school on base. I thought when you guys went, even when you lived on base, I thought that kids still went to public school or whatever school that was in town. I didn't realize that there was a school on base, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, some installations may not have a middle school or may not have an elementary. It just depends on the installation. I don't know the exact ones to be certain, but we definitely had a middle school. We had a high school, and I would say our high school was a 2A high school, and out in town, Jacksonville High School was a 4A. So the school was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But moving around, meeting different people. One day your best friend is there. Next week, dad, mom, whoever was in the service got orders and they're gone. So you never really gotten that emotional, that friendship attachment that you would get with someone if you've been to school, if you've known them through elementary, middle, and then all the way to high school. You basically graduated together. But some of my best friends to this day are my friends that I met in high school on base.
Gotcha.
And high school out in town. Some of my best friends are some of the folks I went to high school with, not necessarily served with in the Army.
Gotcha.
I truly treated my military service like a business. If we very rarely spoke sports with my military colleagues. It was just work mainly. That was just the way I wanted to handle my daily responsibility, because and 9 times out of 10, every job that I had in the service, I was in charge. I was the leader. So there were certain things that I spoke about, and there were some that we just didn't touch on because I needed to keep that leader, persona.
Yeah.
But growing up, living in a military household, my dad was a drill instructor at Paris Island. He was real stern. My mother was real stern as well. They weren't stern enough to make me behave in school. I still did what I wanted to do, but through life, you grow up and you understand. And I just had this talk yesterday with my son, who just turned 24, and he is now in the Army. And I called him yesterday on his birthday, and I told him, I said, hey, basically the moral of this conversation that we're about to have is that you cannot waste your 20s. I know you're in the Army. I know you can only move so much. You don't really control the aspects of your day. The Army does that for you. But do not waste your 20s. That was the conversation yesterday.
Man, I love that. I am in the same place with my son. I have a 30-year-old who just turned 30 this year, and I have a 21-year-old. And I'm having the same conversation with them repeatedly as well, is that you have limited responsibilities. None of you guys have any children yet. You're not married yet. Like if there's any time to grind, right? You talk about burning the candle at both ends. Like you got the energy to work a full-time job, a part-time job, and run a business if you wanted to. Like you got to really think about how you want to set up the rest of your life. We're going to get into another segment that I call 1 minute motivation, but I certainly want to circle back to, you didn't go into the military right out of high school. So what was that gap like between, coming out of Job Corps and And then by 22, you're making that decision. So we want to get into that too on the other side of this 1 minute motivation. But for those of you who are new to the show, we do an episode a segment every episode called 1 minute motivation. That's where I'm gonna play a short motivational clip, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. In fact, I need to make sure that I got the right video queued up in here so we can get to the 1 minute motivation. And then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna give my takeaways. Chris is gonna give his takeaways. And for those of you who are watching and you're able to type, then a couple of your takeaways as well. Let us know what you hear within this short clip, because I believe in personal growth and self-development. And most people don't realize that everything you consume contributes to your personal growth and self-development, but you got to be intentional about it if you want to grow in the right direction. So let's get ready for some 1 minute motivation. As soon as this clip finished processing, we'll be good to go. So come on, here we go. 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
Let me explain this to you. Failure is the default. If you don't have a little rational paranoia, failure is the default. It's called being a executor. No excuses. There's no excuse. Execute. Just do it. Do it. There's not an excuse. It's 100% execution. Straight up. You have to realize that once you do start working regularly and you enjoy what you're doing, you find the joy in what you're doing, it's really not that hard to work hard. It's actually pretty easy. The hardest part about beating laziness is just the initial shift in gears. It's like a diet. The only hard part of a diet is just that first month. Really, once you're past the first month or two, you're just eating healthy food. You just get in a routine with it. It's really fine. Right? So there's always a right way to do things, a wrong way to do things. A right way to get ahead is work really smart, really smart and strategically, but be willing to work hard. But it's that first little bit that is kind of tough. It's a little bit of a shell shock when when you're not used to it. You know what makes you happy? Finding something that you like to do, and then having a good balance between hard work, friends and family, hobbies, time off, learning, and work. Success needs to be earned and re-earned every day.
Hoo-wee. I don't know about you, Chris. Success needs to be earned and re-earned every day.
Yes,
so this is my favorite segment of the show. And the reason I love it so much, especially when I have a guest on, is because we all just listen to the same clip, but based on where you are in life, likely heard something very different. So what did you hear, my friend?
Success. I mean, every day. Success is not just a Monday thing or a Tuesday thing, or Wednesday is hump day. Let me start winding down and get ready for the weekend. No. Success is every day. You have to live it. Yeah. The way my mind works is I am always thinking about my business. What can I do to evolve? What can I do to scale? What can I do to make me better? How can I make my business better? How can I grow? How can I earn more income? How can I find funding? And one thing I want to mention is I started CW Dressing September 2020, about 6 months before I actually retired from the military. And ever since that day, it has been solely me doing every single thing. The beginning of this year, I did hire an accountant to do the accounting and the taxes. But up until the beginning of this year, I did every single thing, every single aspect that pertains to CW Dressings, whether it's, designing the logo, the shirts, the branding on the bottles, the marketing, the finding out how to create an LLC. That was all me. I do every single thing. And I feel that's very important, because when the time comes for me to hire personnel, I want to be the one to tell them this is what worked, this is what didn't work, and this is how it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because as a leader and a CEO of my company, it's a small company, but I'm still the CEO.
That's right. That's right.
It is important for me to know those things. And folks that I run into, other business owners, they see that. And I get excited when they notice things like that, because, it goes to show that your hard work and your dedication of what it is that you're trying to create is paying off and is showing.
There you go. Yeah, that commitment to the growth and the development and really the grind, man. So many people want to skip the grind, right? So many people want to fast forward through the hard parts, right? It's the journey, right? That's at the end of the day, it's the journey. You said something in your comment about who do you need to become? How do you get better as the individual? Because as you get better, then you can figure out how to make the business better. And I think a lot of times we are trying to skip the work, and it is the work, the process of doing the work that shapes us into the people that we need to become in order to live and sustain on the next level, right? Failure is the default, right? If you don't do the work, you will fail. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. Like, you have to do the work. You can get mentorship, right? If there is anything, such a thing as a shortcut,
right?
It is getting mentorship. That's about it. But even when you get the mentorship, you're gonna find that your mentor is gonna tell you to do the freaking work. Period. They're gonna tell you what work to do, and that's the shortcut. So you can avoid some headaches and some potential nightmares, but you still have to do the work. It's the start that stops most people, right? Like it's like going to the gym for the first time, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna get fit. It's 2023. I'm gonna whip this body into some shape. You go to the gym excited, you get a first workout in, and you're cool. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go back in a couple of days. But we all know what happens in a couple of days. That doggone lactic acid starts to build up in those muscles, and you start to get sore, and you're like, oh, I can't go back. I gotta wait till the soreness dies down. Well, the only way the soreness dies down is when you keep going to the gym while you're sore.
That's right.
And that's the same thing that happens in business or in life or in any other pursuit of success. You have to keep pressing towards the mark in the midst of difficulties. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, the CW Dressings version of 1 Minute Motivation. Man, make sure y'all check out cwdressings.com, and that's dressings with an S, to learn all about this date-based balsamic vinaigrette and hot sauce, man. We're gonna get into why dates and all of that in a second, but let's go back to our earlier conversation, right? We talked about you going into the military, but you didn't go the route that most people go straight out of high school. You had some gap there. What was the gap about?
The gap was me basically, fighting, rebellion. It was the rebellion. I knew the military would always be there. I seen what it did for my father and what it did and what it provided for us as a family. But for me, it's not something that I wanted to run into immediately. I wanted to try to make it on my own. And during that time, I had a son. I had got married. I was working 2 jobs. I was doing construction during the day, and I was working at restaurants at night. And I did that for about 2 years straight. Okay. And one day, the gentleman that I worked for during the day, he came to me. He said, "Hey, work is slowing down." And he gave me my paycheck, and he also gave me an extra $500. And he said, "I'm gonna have to let you go because, you know, that's how construction is.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sat and I thought, and I was like, you know what? I'm just spinning my wheels. I need to do something else.
Yeah.
I need benefits. And I will tell you, I will be the first one to tell you, when I did join the Army, I didn't necessarily join to serve my country. I joined because I needed a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, I joined because my family needed benefits. It was once I joined, and, you know, you get into basic training, you understand, you know, what you just did. So I'm not afraid to say that, and I share that with anyone. I commend those who joined immediately because they want to, you know, serve their country. That wasn't the case for me. I learned that later on. But those years prior to joining, you know, I was just fighting rebellion. You know, I still wanted to run the streets. I wasn't necessarily doing, you know, the best thing, you know, as a father, as a husband at that time. But it's all growth.
That's it.
You know, it was something. It was something I had to go through in order to get to the other side. To know, you know, what right is. And although my dad was there the whole time, and my parents were together my whole childhood, and they're still together till this day. You know, those are kind of things you take for granted. You know what right is, but still at certain ages, you know, you want to fight that rebellion. You want to do what you want to do. You want to make money how you want to make it, and it's just not that way. You have to go through certain things, you know, to come out on the other side, the right way.
Yeah, you got some growing to do, man. And for anybody who's got children, I can't remember what I was watching just recently, but the gentleman was talking about, if you want your children to eventually be able to stand on their own, you have to, as a parent, be willing to let them fall. And I think a lot of parents, like my wife and I, struggle with this sometimes, because as a man, I'm like, all right, that decision is going to cost him, but whatever it costs him, we got to let him pay it.
Yeah.
Like, because he's not going to get the lesson if we bail him out. Right. So you got to be willing to let your children fall in order for them to learn how to stand and appreciate the ability to stand on their own. It sounds like your parents were willing to allow you to fall and bump your head and scar your knees a few times, and you finally got the message. And it didn't take you 20 years to do it. And parents out there, sometimes it takes some of us longer than others, but sometimes, like, I didn't have to fall for 40 years. I had to fall for about 10, and I finally got it, right? Some people have to fall for 2 or 3, but they will eventually get it and realize what it takes to stand on their own. So
quick story. I remember the day that I dropped out of high school. And I remember it because report cards came home that week, and I had Fs. My dad used to call Fs, he used to call them flags. Why are you bringing home these flagships? I don't know. That was his word for Fs. Why are you bringing home these flagships? So he looked at me. He looked at report card. He said, son, you ain't doing nothing in school. He said, you know what? Just drop out. And I was shocked. He was like, just drop out. So I dropped out of high school with his permission, of course. And he said, now you're going to go get a job. Because I still stayed at home. You know, I was in high school. He said, now you're going to get a job. So he said, but here's the catch. You're going to leave here right now. You're going to go find a job, but you can't come back into this house until you have a job. So I was out all day hustling. You know how back in the day you could fill out an application and you might turn it in and wait for a phone call, or you might turn it in and you might run across the hiring manager and you can, you know, spark a conversation. You know, man, I filled out about 4 applications that day. It had started to get dark. I was like, man, I'm gonna be sleeping under a bridge somewhere. And I remember calling home, and I was talking to my mom, and she was like, your dad said you can't come home till you have a job. So I figured I could wiggle my way in if I talked to my mom. She was like, nope, you got to find a job. So I ended up going to Bojangles, and this was my last stop. Bojangles was my first job. And I remember talking to the manager, and I was like, look, I need a job today. I was like, I need to go home with a shirt today. And I didn't tell her why, but I was able to get that job. And I tell you right there, that's where some of that hustle mentality started. Because if I didn't have a job, I would have been sleeping outside, So, but yes, just as you said, my parents, they let me get away with certain things, but I think they also understood. And today I can tell you they're very proud of my military accomplishments and what I'm doing right now. And, I want to pay that forward. I want to pay that forward to them. I want to buy a new house for them.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't want to do that? And just like in the clip that you showed, there's a part of me that feels I'm behind the clock because every day I wake up as if I'm out of time. Because although my oldest son is in the Army, that's his choice. But there was a time where I wanted my business to already be where it needed to be so I could hire him.
Right.
That time slipped past me. My youngest son, who is now a senior in high school, don't get me wrong. I love the military. I love that it shapes men and women to who they are today. I love what it's done for me and my family. But there's a part of me that does not want the military to be an option on the table for him.
Gotcha.
So when that time comes, CW Dressings must be ready to hire him. Now, if he makes that decision to where he wants to serve the country, that's his decision. By all means, I will let him do that. But every day I wake up, I am behind the clock. I have certain things on my goal list, on my tracking system of where I need to be in the future.
Gotcha. I love that. And I want to tell you, parents, something that I picked up out of that story. He said he called mom and tried to lean on mom a little bit. Mom was united with dad. Like, listen, your father has spoken. And I heard what he said, just like you heard what he said. And I'm not going against your father to make room for you. Go do what he said do. Go get a job. And sometimes sending mixed messages from mom and dad, right? Kids learn as they grow up who to play, who to go to. I got to go ask mom this. Oh, I got to go ask dad this because the odds are in my favor if I ask dad this versus mom. Oh, the odds are in my favor. And you try to play your mom and she's like, nah, go get that job like your dad said. And then you can come back. Then I'll collar you, baby, when you come home with that job. But you ain't coming back here till you have that job. So talk us through that final decision as you're winding down your career. Did you already have a set amount of years that you're going to do in the military? Like, I just know I'm going to do 20, a flat 20, a flat 25, and it's over. Or did you start the business and you're like, oh, well, I'm eligible for retirement. I can just go ahead and take this retirement and go ahead and focus on the business. Walk us through that process and that transition from retired military to full-time entrepreneur.
So from the day I joined, since I joined late, I knew I was going to do 20.
Okay.
Because like I said, that those years between high school and joining was rough. Yeah. I didn't want to go through that again. I learned my lesson from that, and I was like, look, I'm gonna get in, do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm doing 20. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. I need disability. I need my retirement check. I understood that. So no matter what I went through or what I was going to have to go through in the military, I was there for the whole 20.
Okay.
Now, as far as I will say this, because this is an important piece of my growth. I want to say around the 10-year mark of when I was in the military. Although I still had that entrepreneurial spirit, I wasn't doing anything entrepreneurial. It was just focus on the military, focus on learning my job, focus on being the best soldier I could be. And then I came across some folks that did network marketing, as some would say, pyramid schemes.
Right.
I got, I was real fascinated by that. The system is right there in front of you. You just duplicate it 100 times, however many times the system says duplicate it, and you're here. You bring in this many people and sell this amount, and you're here. Right. So, but during that time, I ran into some folks that was doing network marketing within the military, and that put me back on my entrepreneurial path. I knew I always wanted to own my own business. I just didn't know at the time what it was going to be.
Gotcha.
I just figured with the traits and the skills and the discipline that I was learning in the military, if I could just take that and apply it to something that I wanted to do, no matter if I was cutting grass, no matter if I was a lawn worker, or if I had my own car wash business, I knew that I could be great at it.
Gotcha.
But that network marketing phase really just honed for me business. So during that time, I joined a couple of businesses. One network marketing company, I made it all the way to the BMW level. I drove around town in the BMW. So that was fascinating.
Nice.
The next level, I made it to EVP Gold in my econ. But more or less, it was just, the folks, the camaraderie, the group, that teamwork that you build, that partnership and, that discipline.
And I'll tell you my story. I the first time I got involved with network marketing, it was with ACN. I was about 19. Me and my friends were in a rap group, and we saw the circles on the board, the residual income, all of this, how we can make money to pay for studio time. Right? It didn't pan out that way because we didn't understand, the stigma around network marketing and all that kind of stuff. But then shortly after that, I got involved with Amway. Now, here's the funny thing, Chris, is I didn't make any money with Amway, right? My mom was my only customer in downline, right? She was that way in a lot of stuff that I did, right? But they introduced me to personal growth and self-development.
Yes.
And while I wasn't making any money in the business, I was constantly getting promoted and elevated on my job because of the personal growth and self-development. I was becoming a leader. I was becoming a trendsetter and a trailblazer. I was constantly picked to head new projects and coach and train other people because of the personal growth and self-development. So it benefited me in another way. And then by the time I hit my econ and learned how to do video marketing, because as an introvert, I couldn't go out and recruit strangers, but I could run my mouth on a video. And that's how I built my team. And but you're right, it gives you, it restored for me that sense of pride and fulfillment and owning something, right? I owned a business and I just had to figure out how to make it work. So kudos to you and Mr. Curry and Mr. Stokes for putting in my econ together. And that's how we kind of crossed paths. But that was a 10-year mark. And then you kind of move to continue to do your thing, got a side hustle or two going with the MLM, but now you're approaching retirement. What is that process to decide CW dressings? And did you have any opportunities to re-enlist, right? Because I know you're a good soldier, man. You get to that 20-year mark, they don't just want to let you walk out the door. It's like, hey, bro, like, it's like any business or any system, when you got good people, you want to keep them, even though you're eligible for retirement. So was there any thought of, man, I can do another 6? Or was it just, man, let me go ahead and start this next phase of my life and start pursuing this dream?
So around that 11, 12 year, 15-year mark, I had became a drill sergeant. So I had became a first sergeant at Fort Jackson. South Carolina. So everything that up until that point, everything that I was doing network marketing wise crumbled, because being a drill sergeant all day, up in the morning at 3, so we can wake them up at 4 or 3:30, and staying with the trainees 10, 11 o'clock at night. And also during that time being a first sergeant and having my own company and then my own drill sergeants. Anything I did up until that point, network marketing wise, had already fell through because I just didn't have the time for it. Even at this particular time, CW dressings had not presented itself. During this time, I was debating, because I was an E8, which was a master sergeant. During this time, I was debating, do I want to make sergeant major? So the question did come, do I want to make sergeant major? Do I want to give the Army another 4 to 6 years? Because if I had made the list and went to the Sergeant Major Academy, that's a commitment of another 4 to 5 years. So that would have put me at 25, 26 years in once I had the next chance to retire. So yes, the thought to continue my military career was definitely there. But I ended up having lower back issues. I ended up having knee issues, and my body was just, not what it used to be. And also during that time, while I was a first sergeant at Fort Jackson, I was hit with one of the biggest situations of my military career. And this was a global incident. I had a drill sergeant under my care fall asleep behind the wheel of a vehicle. And, he ended up riding the vehicle through one of our formations and killed 2 of our trainees.
Wow.
So during this time, this was the lowest part of my military career. This was the, this is where my, as you could say, my PTSD in the military started. This is what sparked me, having the wounds that you can't always see, because during that time, I was in charge. I was the leader. It was my responsibility to take care of the well-being and of my soldiers and of my drill sergeants. Although it was an accident, although, my commander and I, we were investigated, we were found, not to be at fault, but, as a leader, if something like that happens on your watch, it's going to stick with you.
You still feel responsible.
Yes,
yes. That's still on me. That was on my watch, like you said.
Yes, exactly. That's 2 soldiers that didn't go home, and countless others that, was hurt, and they will always have those wounds till this day. But after that, my motivation to become sergeant major, after seeing the politics, the investigation, my will to remain in the military just kind of faltered. I wasn't the same leader. It took me about 2 years to bounce back from that. I'm still bouncing back from that. That's something I deal with and think about daily. It's something I fight with daily. But once I PCS from Fort Jackson, PCS back to Fort Bragg. So now I'm no longer in a leadership position. I'm more of a team member now in the S3. It was during that time where, I'm kind of winding down. I'm still fighting the decision to retire because the fight is still in me. Making sergeant major in the Army is a huge thing. Only 1 to 2% of non-commissioned officers make that rank. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, I could have made that rank. I know it. But, the body was breaking down, mental issues, So I just kind of played my role, and I was gonna, ride the rave until I hit 20. That last year, 6 months before I retired. Well, let me back up real quick. This is very important. While I was at Fort Jackson, I ended up for the first time going into a Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I first came across a date.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew what dates were.
Yeah.
So I started buying dates, and I would cut them up and put them on my salad. During that time, I stopped eating meat for 2 years because I wanted to improve my health. I wanted to cut out meat to see, if it would have any great effect on my body and my performance. So I cut out meat for 2 years. I started buying dates, and I would put them on my salad. I started eating more vegetables, more fruits. And one day, of course, by trade, I'm a culinary chef in the military. I was sitting, I was thinking, I was saying to myself, I think I can just make a salad dressing out of these dates. That's when the first spark of CW dressings was born. Now, fast forward after that, I had already made the salad dressing. I had already made the hot sauce. I was just making it for myself.
Gotcha.
All the way through South Carolina, all the way through my PCS back to Fort Bragg. I just never thought nothing of it. These are just products that I like for me. About 7 months before I had already submitted my paperwork to retire, I knew I was getting out. I knew I was going home. I did not have a job lined up. I had nothing lined up. I just knew that I needed to find something, and it needed to present itself very quickly.
Yeah.
So about 7 months before I actually retired, I ended up taking some of my products to work, my hot sauce and my dressing, and I shared it with the soldiers in my office. And just by the looks on their face, the sparkle, the widening of their eyes, their comments that lasted for weeks and weeks on end. Master Sergeant, you need to be selling this. I never thought of it. It never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And, just by, I was like, well, I don't know the first thing about starting a business, my own business. So I went to the internet, Googled some stuff, went to YouTube, figured it out. And within 30 days of my coworkers trying my products, I had started my LLC.
Gotcha.
I still didn't know where CW Dressings was going, but it was the look on their faces that pushed me, that said, this is an amazing product. And then they would bring up things. They're doing the research for me. They're like, there are no other products on the market that are made with dates. And I was like, you know what? Let me go home and Google that. You're absolutely right. So that's how CW Dressings, that's how I ended my military career. That was the beginning of CW Dressings right there.
Oh man, that is such an amazing story. Like when you have people who believe in you enough to go and start doing their own research, and like, man, you're on to something, that is amazing. So normally we do freestyle, but I don't want to get into freestyle because this is such an amazing business, and you have a lot of people who can be in a product-based business. You see what Master P is doing with the cereals and that kind of stuff, trying to create equity for our products on store shelves. Talk about really quickly the bottling and the packaging, because it seems like people get ahead of themselves. Instead of just creating the recipe, they're already saying, well, I can't figure out how to get it in a bottle and get a label on it and get it to a store. But just create the recipe, man. You put it in a plastic tub for all I care. But but you went beyond that, and now you got these beautiful bottles and their packages. You got distribution. What was that process like, real quick?
So, excuse me. So once I stepped in to the spot, and I knew, okay, this is what I'm going to attempt to do. I doubled the size because I was just making little servings for me at home, my family. Once I stepped into the spot and said, okay, this is it. I'm going to attempt this. My recipe, my 5 or 10 people serving recipe went to, okay, how do I make 50 bottles? So during that first 2 weeks, I started making the product from home myself. And I would make about 50 bottles a week. And by Friday, I would make 50 bottles on Sunday. By Saturday, they would be gone. And this was just a regular bottle, no label, no nothing. And I would just sell it to the people at work, friends, people I ran into on the street, and they would buy it. They loved it. So what I was doing was I was trying to prove concept that I actually had a product beyond my coworkers saying that it was good. So once I figured out, okay, it will work. How am I going to scale this business? Because I don't want to be making this every Sunday. How am I going to scale this business? So I, once again, and this is valuable, young people, if you're listening, everything you need to figure something out is out there. Google, YouTube, someone that's in the business that's doing what you want to do. Send them an email. Go find them. Ask them a few questions. Hey, can you mentor me? I did all three. And I ended up reaching out to some co-packers in the state of North Carolina that, made products for other businesses, that made product for Heinz, Kraft. And I was like, hey, I have this product. I want to know if you can make it. Believe it or not, I reached out to 5 companies, 5 co-packers. They all told me no. They looked at it as, you're new in the business. You're not going to have a lot of production with us. This is just a hobby for you. So, and I understood that from a business standpoint. But then one day out of the blue, another co-packer called me and say, hey, someone gave me your number, said that you have some products you're trying to get made. Till this day, that is my co-packer who still makes my products today. He believed in my products. I believed in him. And we have both made each other a lot of money because it took for him to duplicate my product. And in doing that, we figured out, okay, we have to add a preservative to this. We have to add a thickening agent to this. What type of oil do you want in this? So during that process, I figured out that's where CW Dressings was really unfolding. And I was like, okay, this product needs to be vegan. It needs to be diabetic friendly. I don't want any added sugars. I only want the best oil, extra virgin olive oil, because during this time, and it goes back to when I was at Fort Jackson, I was going through a process of eating healthy. I had already learned what dates are. I understood the difference between different oils. So it all just fell into place. But that production piece of it, that is a big piece, because you don't necessarily have to be in every grocery store in America to make money.
There you go.
My first year in business, I started the business September 2020. That first year, CW Dressings made $500. 2021, we made $13,000. Year to date, we are sitting at, for 2022, we are sitting at $80,000 in sales.
Wow.
So just it just goes back to the title of your show, the hustle show. It has been a hustle from day one. I have met category managers that work for Heinz, that work for US Foods, that work for Food Lion, and they all say, I don't understand how you have come this far in an amount of years where you are. They said, I work with people in this industry who I don't think could have done what you've done in the amount of time.
Wow. That is powerful. We've got to bring you back, man. And if you're open to it, I would love for you to one day come back and kind of lay out some steps that someone could take, because we know that there are people all over the country with some amazing recipes that have been handed down from generation to generation. And it's like, man, if y'all had a blueprint on how to get with a co-packer, how to, start, then scale, like, I think that would be amazing for our audience. So really quickly, we got less than a minute. Tell everybody how they can get your products, connect with you, etc.
All right. So if you want to connect with me, I'll go. I throw my business phone number around. It is because I want to help. I want to help everyone, and I want everyone to succeed. And if I have knowledge, I want to share it. So my business number is 785-709-0050. My email, you can reach me at contactus@cwdressings. That's dressings with an S.com. You can also find us on Instagram at CW_dressings, Facebook business page at CW Dressings. And also you can order our products on our website at cwdressings.com. We also sell on Amazon. So you can purchase both products on Amazon. And hopefully by the end of this month, if you are in North Carolina, if you're in Southern Pines, Pinehurst, or you live in the Raleigh, Garner, Cary area of North Carolina, our products will be stocked on the shelves in Lowe's Foods by the end of this month.
Love it, love it, love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been listening to and learning from Chris Whitehurst of CW Dressings. Amazing accomplishments, brother. Godspeed to you. Continued success in everything that you are doing, because I think you are breaking down walls and barriers for a lot of us to enter this lane as we start to create, the situation where Dr. James Small says, until we can provide food, clothing, housing, safety and security for our own people, we're always going to be the highest unemployed people on the planet. But you're kind of in this lane where, hey, this is how you create a food product and get it distributed and get it packaged and so that you can present it well. So super excited about you. The links to all of Chris's information is in the show notes. So make sure y'all go check out CW Dressings. Until I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.